What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Leave It to the Judges MMA show. I'm here with X and Clark as usual. Today we are going over UFC 305. This is our recap video. Pretty crazy night in Australia. Let's get into just straight up the main event. Dricus du Plessis wins via fourth round submission. It was a great fight, very competitive, back and forth. Both fighters had their moments, but what are your guys' thoughts on what went down in the octagon?
Let me start because I know Clark's gonna be obnoxious. Let me just
Let it out. Let
humbly,
it out, Clark.
let me just humbly accept my fucking defeat first before you fucking do what you're gonna do, Clark. I see you already fucking on bullshit.
He's hydrating for. He's getting ready.
I know, man. This is some. He's
Don't tell
weight
him.
cutting. He's weight cutting for this fucking this rant he's about to get on. But shout out Izzy Adesanya, man. He looked fantastic coming off of a 1 year layoff. I would say I saw nothing really wrong with his performance. The man just got clipped. Like I feel like he was handily in control of the fight, up maybe three or two at least 2 rounds to 2 rounds to 1, going into the fourth. And with all of the momentum like swinging his way, I feel like even the whole first half of the fourth round, he was winning, like pretty convincingly. Dricus looked pretty lost out there. He looked tired. He was winging shots, he was winging leg kicks, everything was missing. Izzy had his Matrix mode on. And then Dricus touched him. And we know that like with one of those blitzes, like the one thing about Dricus that like a lot of fighters don't have is the fact that he keeps fighting regardless of what's going on in the fight. He doesn't quit on himself. And like that, I feel like it's probably his biggest attribute. It's just his grit and his will to not give up in the fight. He's always gonna fight until the bell. Even like no matter how little energy he has, like he would just muster up big shots, and he hit Izzy with one in the temple and like put him on Queer Street for a second. And it was enough for him to like, get the takedown and quickly sub Izzy out and like probably like a 20-second span. Like he clipped Izzy a little bit. Izzy did the little point down Max Holloway thing, and then like they start swinging, and like he kind of stumbled for a second. Dricus got the takedown, and then like boom, finished the fight before like any of us knew what the fuck was going on. So I mean, props to Dricus for just his grit, his submission ability, and his ability to hit Izzy like late, even when Izzy was like in control of the fight. Like I respect him a lot more after this fight. I feel like getting a convincing win over Izzy was very important for his resume, especially considering like how close the Sean Strickland fight was. I feel like this was like a career defining performance for him. Especially because say what you want about the layoff, but Izzy came in and looked like Izzy. He was game, and he was actually like probably the strongest version of him in cage that we've seen. So like I give Dricus a lot of props for this victory right now.
Yeah, I gave the first round to Dricus. It was extremely close. So, like, if you gave it to Izzy, whatever. Second round to Dricus, third round to Izzy. And yeah, Izzy looked like he was pulling away from the fight. He was doing excellent body work. Like, I loved watching that. Izzy was ripping the body with kicks and punches. He looked good, but man, Dricus is just the definition of a freight train, man. You
Come
you
on.
ha- you have to get out of his way when he throws those blitz. He's definitely the best blitzer in the sport. Really good mixing up takedowns. Those head kicks also just very deceiving. I didn't see any of those coming. I think Dricus maybe was getting a little tired, just getting outpointed. It looked like Izzy was on his way to win the fight, but yeah, man, like X said, he hit it. He sent him to Queer Street with that. I think it was like a left hook right on the temple. It kind of looked like Izzy after that just laid down and give
Right,
up the choke.
right on the forehead. It was
Yeah,
like, oh, like
yeah. So Izzy didn't just give up. He was rocked. Like he was clearly
and,
rocked.
and Izzy like did a great job with his poker face in terms of like he was getting clipped a few times in there, I feel like, and kind of like, kept a game face on, stay composed, but I felt like once it was like he got clipped and then like Dricus started grappling right away, it was kind of very obvious that like he wasn't making the smartest decisions in the moment, the right defensive decision. So props to him.
Yeah, and Dricus is one of those guys where he'll throw something with heat, and then right behind it, you got 2, 3 more strikes coming at you. Like he's not worried about the counter punches. He's more worried about like imposing his will. Yeah, everyone's talking about Drickus is like ugly, his style and all that, but like I don't care how it looks. He's getting results. Look at his resume. His last 3 fights destroyed Whitaker, beat Sean Strickland in a very close fight, and beat arguably the best middleweight of all time. And honestly, like
And no one's
I
ever.
think yeah, I think the Strickland rematch is nowhere near as close as the first one. I think DDP smokes him low key after what I just saw. But yeah, Clark, I'll give you the floor, buddy.
That was a lovely ending, Ed. And you know why? Because today is the 8-month anniversary of Sean Strickland never getting the belt back.
Actually,
It's beautiful. Yeah, it is today. It is the 20th. They fought January 20th. So it's beautiful. Or 7 months, whatever, how long that is. And people right after that fight were saying Sean's still gonna win, and good luck with that, y'all. It's the same thing with Oliveira. I'll just keep winning the money from everyone. That's all right. But looking at the fight, um, personally, I had DDP winning the first. It was very close, but I I think Izzy was kind of winning the first half, but I think a lot like this judging, if you finish the round out strong, you're gonna win the round. That's what Duplessis did. I think he was gaining momentum going into the second and had a very good second with the takedowns and the control. Had a decent sub attempt. It wasn't that close, but it was okay. Izzy definitely found his range, I think, in the third. Duplessis does look gassed a lot, but I think that's just how he fights. I don't think he's truly that gassed. I think that's just how he fights.
Yeah.
And I just loved all the reactions after watching the Joe Rogan. They were all sad that Izzy got choked out. Jamal Hill was sad. Like everyone was so sad. It was so funny to me because it's just like, why is DDP the enemy really? Like, who cares? Like the man's hooping, he's doing his thing. And I think it's just because he looks awkward. No one wants him, and he's a good fighter. But now he's won 8 consecutive fights to start off the UFC, which is tied for the fourth most ever. Um, he defended his belt against Adesanya, which is an amazing win. I mean, not a lot of people can say they beat Adesanya, and by finish as well.
First
Something
person, the first person to get like a decisive finish because like the Alex one was kind of
Yeah.
like controversial.
That was the first
Yeah.
time he got submitted also.
the first time he got subbed. Um, Duplessis, like, and I thought he could do this. Like, he went to the Roy Gracie Academy, I don't know how long, like a month ago or something, and just subbed out a bunch of them. And he beat like almost all of them from what I heard, and I've seen videos of it. This dude is nasty on the ground. He knows what he's doing down there compared to everyone else in this division, really. Like, he's not the best, I'd say, at holding people down, but he just goes and he knows how to, he's good on his entries. That's the one thing I'll give him credit for. But my man's just too good, man. Sean's gonna come back in here talking his little shit, like, oh, I would have won if I didn't get that cut, blah, blah, blah. Whatever, man. Come and prove it. He might not even get the next fight, to be honest. Um, what else did I have? I do think Izzy was kind of taking over a little bit. Um, but I think we all knew he couldn't take one of those shots. Cause I'll be honest, to me it also looked like Izzy gassed a little.
I
That's
kind of agree with that. Not completely, but he was weaning a little.
And I feel like when they're both not at full power, DDP is always gonna have the advantage there. Just I think he's just
Yeah.
naturally stronger than everyone in this
He's
division.
strong as fuck, dude. Like
That's his biggest gift, just
he's
his
built.
overall strength.
I kind of disagree with you, Clark. Like in terms of the advantage, because I feel like once things get once once fatigue is a factor for both fighters, that's when people both get sloppy. And I
But
think that the
how he fights.
sloppier, I feel like that's when Izzy's like technical being better technically was taking over. It was just he got caught. Like I feel like all leading up into that punch, like Izzy was kind of whooping his ass. Like it was getting like round 3 was like the most clear Izzy round to the point. I
Yeah.
mean, round 3 was, and then like round 4 even until the point of the punch where it landed. It was kind of like I think like it all went wrong for Izzy in like a span of like 20 seconds. Like it was like a punch. He got a little rocky.
I mean,
DDP like swarmed him a little bit.
I
He got
might
the takedown
okay.
and then he got him out of there quick with
Okay,
the choke.
I might agree with you, but Izzy was starting to look like at that point he was starting to gas a little, and I don't know how the fifth would have gone, honestly, based on how he looked. He looked fine in the corner, but then somehow was gassed when he was. I think he couldn't handle the pressure again, and I don't like Izzy. I thought he fought well. He looked fine. Some issues I was having though, he wasn't circling out. He was kind of just letting DDP like get him in a straight line at times, which I thought was a mistake. I think if he would have used more lateral movement, I think he could have easily stayed ahead of DDP the way the fight was going. But he kept going straight back, which is a big no-no, I would say, in MMA. I would also say that he was doing a lot of the same things on takedown defense that Corey Sandhagen was making mistakes against Umar. At times just turning his back. I like Izzy fought I thought he fought well. I think he just made unnecessary mistakes in this fight that made this fight closer than it maybe should have been. Because I think going into the fifth, it would have been 2-2. I mean, on the judges actually had DDP winning going into the fourth, or it was a split decision, but officially two judges had him up 2-1. One judge had Izzy up 2-1 going into the fourth.
Yeah. Also a big narrative. I think this was like the complete like narrative inside the cage. Whoever was moving forward was winning that portion of the fight. Did you guys realize that also?
For the most part, yeah. I was noticing though that like from my perspective at least, I felt like I think that early on in the fight when DDP was more fresh, it seemed like Izzy was more like focused on circling out and focused on like being on his movement shit. I think that at a point they both kind of tired out, but I think that more than Izzy was tired, I think he kind of underestimated what DDP had left in the tank because it kind of seemed like once DDP started really gassing out, and I think that like once Izzy hit that big sprawl on him, remember that big sprawl that he hit in I think round 3,
Oh yeah.
and then he got up and DDP looked really gassed. He hit I think Izzy hit him with like a body kick and then like an uppercut or something, and it seemed like Izzy was like more planting, more willing to like throw like plant and like throw and try to like find like he hit him with like a body shot, like a left hook to the body. I remember he was just like at that round 3 phase of the fight, I think he kind of just like underestimated a little bit like what DDP had left in the tank. And I think that like that's fair because like based on how DDP looks, I think that like he always looks like he's huffing and puffing and like because his style is like very awkward anyway, it looks a little bit like extra labored once he gets like gassed. And I think that Izzy was probably like, oh, he's getting sloppy. But like the thing about DDP is like it only takes one and they come from weird angles and like it's not as like he might like look sloppy. He might look like gas as fuck 1 minute and then the next minute like launch like a fucking full speed missile at your face, you know?
Yeah.
Like he can just summon those like those little bursts. And I think that like Izzy might have underestimated him and like might have been a little too confident, like fighting planted, thinking that he was taking over the fight, which he was until he got caught. You know, that's what I
Yeah,
saw.
yeah. Look, I thought Izzy. I even said in the pregame he had to go to the body with the kicks, and he was going there plenty. And I thought they were great timing on them, everything. And by the way, like I don't know if y'all saw this. Dean Thomas said Izzy had a bad performance. That's kind of crazy to me. I
No,
don't
he
know.
looked great, man. Like that's just
I
so
mean, like he had
Izzy
some
was Izzy. Izzy was
I
Izzy.
talked to about like there were some of those issues, but it was very like it was like so minimal, really, and like Dean Thomas, man, you're a coach. I don't know what the fuck you were looking at, but
It's just whack.
that was crazy. I thought Izzy looked good overall. I thought they both looked good. I thought it was a good fight.
It was a great fight. That shit was,
Yeah,
it was an
it was a
epic
great
fight.
fight. I thought it was pretty even for the most part. I thought Izzy was taking over, but for the most part, it was a pretty even fight, and yeah, it was a great finish, man. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I had
All
it.
right.
I had it 1-1 going into the third, and then like I thought that Izzy was winning the fourth, and then got finished. Obviously,
Yeah, I think it was 2-2 if it were to go into the fifth, personally.
no, I feel that.
Let's talk about a little bit outside the cage. I think Izzy also kind of showed this. I'm not saying it's as easy as it sounds, but the blueprint to beat DDP, he has to be moving backwards. You have to be the enforcer. You have to be moving forward, imposing your will. Because if you're moving backward against DDP, you're gonna get taken down or you're gonna get thumped on defeat. What are your guys' thoughts on maybe someone that could give DDP the most trouble out of, let's say, just anyone in the middleweight division? Doesn't
How
have to be
about
Strickland.
how about the motherfucking person that tweeted out, I'm gonna go to I mean, not tweeted out, but fucking posted on Instagram, I'm gonna go to fucking 185 one more motherfucking time.
Ugh.
Alex P, baby. Alex P. If anyone can step back and catch him with a check left to the fucking face, it's Alex
Yeah,
P.
that's facts.
of
I
course,
Do you guys
think
want to
that
see that?
not making
I
it.
would love to. I mean, like, I kind of agree with Drickus. He said that like he would rather go up and fight
Yeah,
Alex because
100%.
he doesn't want him to have that the weight cut excuse. And quite frankly, like as much as like I would like support Alex getting the title back. It would kind of be useless. I would kind of rather see Drickus go up and like fight him at like his healthiest, I guess.
I agree.
And plus I think Drickus is a big motherfucker, obviously. Like he will be like basically like a full size 205er.
Oh, yeah,
So
he'd be ginormous.
I think he's like 220 in there at minimum. So like when he gets in the cage. So I mean, I would rather see that, but yeah, I think that Alex could like catch him, honestly.
Yeah. Do you guys have any names at middleweight?
Yeah, yeah. I got Mr. Hamza Shemaev right
Oh
now
hell yeah.
because we know Sean ain't winning. That's not happening.
Whoa. I'm not willing to say that because he damn near won the first fight, to be honest. But
No, that is true.
It's just too. I'll be honest. I feel like DDP is like the worst person to face a second time.
I
Like,
do not agree one bit at all because I don't think that he has a lot of like wiggle to his game. I don't think he has a lot of like second gear or like
oh, it,
adjustments. I
it's
don't
like
think I don't think he has adjustments like that.
it's more like for me. I feel like once he feels the power coming his way in a fight, like he knows what Sean's like. Sean is not knocking him out whatsoever. Like he's felt him now, and I feel like that'll just give him more confidence to just kind of walk him down and kind of do whatever in that fight. Because he even said it like Sean hits like shit, and he does. But I like Hamzat just for obvious reasons. Undefeated, supposed to be champion about 3 years ago now, probably. Um, and I think has the wrestling game to back it up against someone like DDP. Now the cardio, big question mark for sure. But I feel like stylistically wise, he would have the best shot at beating DDP right now at least.
Yeah,
I
man.
would agree because in my mind, I think their cardio. I mean, we haven't seen like Hamza go 5, right? Only 3.
Three.
Yeah,
Three twice.
Yeah, but I think that like based on what I saw in the Usman fight, um, I feel like Hamza has the exact same cardio as DDP. The type where like you can obviously tell that they're gassed, but like and they like all that happens is their output goes down, not like the complete speed of their strikes. Like in round 3
Okay.
against Usman, like Hamza wasn't throwing as much as Usman, but like when he did throw, it was like a dangerous punch. It wasn't like, wow, this guy is like completely cashed in there. And that's how I feel about DDP. They both also wrestle. I think that like I would probably give Hamza the wrestling advantage, but I would probably give DDP like the strength advantage, like at
Yeah.
least from what I see.
It,
So
Yeah.
I think that's what that fight comes down. I'm actually very interested in that because I think DDP's just back strength or whatever strength is coming from his aura is just crazy right now. I think he's just the ultimate bodybuilder in this division and could just out muscle anyone right now. So I feel like it would come down to strength versus Hamzat's takedown skills, and we'll see who wins that battle. I think that's a great battle. I think whoever wins that side of the battle will just win the fight.
I mean, based on what I've been seeing recently, I think DDP beats him
I mean, I think he does too, but
pretty like handily. I don't know.
I think Hamza has the best chance to beat him.
I
But
don't know about handily. I would probably take Hamza
hey,
on that
handily.
fight.
I wouldn't say handily.
It's just what I've seen from Hamza. I don't know. It's just I don't know.
Hamza's undefeated, eh? We gotta respect undefeated.
No, I know, but like I don't know. That's fine. No, I feel what you're saying. Okay, what's next for Izzy now? Would you guys want to see him at 85 or 205? Where do you?
85.
Okay, Izzy
85.
did say he wants to say at 85.
85, bro.
Okay.
There's nothing up at 205 for him, bro.
You guys don't think he could thrive at 205?
I just think that not with the boogeyman up there. The boogeyman's up there, bro. Alex Pereira. And Izzy already said he doesn't want to fight Pereira again because he was saying like whether it's an excuse or not, like he was saying like no matter what, even if I beat him again, people are gonna say I'm 2-3 against him. So it doesn't really like I already got my win, like I already got like my moment, like
Yeah, no, I feel that.
I have nothing more to like gain. Like I have more to lose than gain from fighting him again, and I feel that like I would rather them both like close that chapter. And Alex said that like he supports Izzy. He would like to train with them, at some point if they can. So it's like they both seem to be past the rivalry. So I don't want to like clamor for it anymore. I would rather see
Yeah.
them both like thrive elsewhere.
Especially now since Izzy lost that fight. This fight, the Drickus fight. Like if he won this belt back, got a defense against Strickland, I could see them rerunning the Alex thing, but I'm pretty sure it's a dead mission now. I'm gonna throw a name out for you guys. 185 debut for Yuri Prohashka versus Izzy. That is just an electric fight. What were your guys' thoughts on that one?
I don't like that. I would rather give
Wait.
I would rather give
Getting down
Yuri.
185.
I think Yuri's going down. I think he said he's gonna go down.
Yeah, he did say he was gonna go down.
Dude,
There's
Yuri
no
and
chance.
Izzy?
There's no chance he's making that weight. There's no
I
chance.
think he's too big.
I would give Yuri Vittori and like
I'm not even gonna lie.
I
The
like that
juggernaut.
raw.
That might be a bad move on Yuri's part. I'm not even gonna lie. I think he's gonna be super drained at middle.
He's a big dude.
But he did say that he doesn't cut much to like fight like heavyweight.
Hmm.
So if he's like 220 like naturally or whatever, like with the
Uh,
cut, like if he just like dieted and like actually just got his body naturally smaller, I don't think
Yeah.
that like
And if
It-
Pereira can make it, I'm sure Yuri could.
yeah, I think that Pereira's a bigger
I
fight.
will say if Whitaker loses to Hamzat, I'd be cool if they ran it a third time.
Okay.
That'd be a fun little fight.
What about UX? Who would you want to see Izzy fight next? We got Yuri and Whitaker so far.
If
Or
we're
he
talking we're talking about Izzy?
Yeah. What's next for him?
rematch Costa, beat the crap out of him.
I
or
mean, has he ever beaten Mavov? No, right?
No.
something.
Like, I mean, yeah, I would say give Nasruddin Izzy and let
He
him.
does deserve a big fight.
Yeah, let him see what he can do. Like, if make that the next title eliminator or something, and like
I don't hate that.
let him sort that out. I think Brendan Allen is a little too like not in that range to fight.
Yeah,
Izzy.
you know what? That's a funny fight. I think he just beats the crap out of Brendan Allen.
Oh
Might be-
yeah, he smokes Brendan Allen.
Brendan Allen might be the worst. Like,
The worst number 7.
yeah, God, middleweight's actually so bad below
Give him Hermanson.
It's
Just-
not though. I don't think it is, bro. Because if you look like
Marvin Vittori.
I think Michelle Pereira is like legit. Like I think that
Oh yeah, like Bohai, everyone low though is
Oh,
good.
Bohai.
Dolitze is nice. I just think that like in the middle ground, like the Vittoris and the like Hermansons are like kind of clogging up the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
they
what-
need to. Wait,
I think Kennedy are still legit. Like, even though he old, like I don't think he's ever gonna be titled. Like, I think he could be higher than he is though.
He is
Fine,
fighting this
Like
weekend.
3.
or this weekend. He's fine, Ohio.
What if Kevin Holland beats Delise? What about Holland versus Adesanya? They got a little beef.
Oh, that
That,
actually be
that'd be
cool.
that'd be a fun fight. I'd love to see it.
They never fought, right?
I mean, like
No.
after seeing what MVP did to him, I could only
Yeah,
That's
imagine
true.
what
No,
Izzy
you're
would
right.
do.
Yeah.
It'd still be interesting because
Yeah.
I remember.
Storyline wise and the shit talk, I guess,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
probably not
remember
cage.
when Holland was coming up. He was talking shit to Izzy in the
No, he
cage.
was sick, so sick back then.
From
He beat
outside,
Jacare.
talking shit. I was high on him, honestly, and then
that 5-fight run that he was like fighter of the year.
That
yeah,
Jacare knockout's still one of my favorite knockouts ever. Like
was
one of the most unique knockouts of all time. And I love
all
Jacare.
He
facts.
said, "I have a dream. I had a dream about this."
That was hilarious.
Crazy.
All right, guys, really quickly before we move on to the co-main event, how do you think the rest of Izzy's career goes? Now he is 35 years old, coming off I think he's 4-4 in his last 8 or something like that, or he's 3-1 in his last 4. What do you guys think the rest of Izzy's career looks like?
I think as long as like a dominant grappler doesn't get the title, I think he has at least one more title shot in him. I think that like honestly, he probably has like one more fight, at most 2 before he's back in a title shot. And I think that he could beat like any of the lower caliber like fighters below him. So I feel like he has at least one more title shot in him.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I
Especially
don't.
with his star power.
Yeah, my I don't think he'll be the Izzy who fought Costa, in my opinion, or the Izzy who knocked out Whitaker. I don't think he'll be that Izzy, but I think he's still good enough to get a title shot for sure and win it real quick. No doubt.
All right, guys, let's move into the co-main event. Absolutely shocking stuff. I know none of us called it. Kaikar France knocks out Steve Erzik in the very first round in under a minute. I thought Kaikar France could maybe win like off activity, maybe a decision, but he straight up just dropped him twice. Really nasty knockout for flyweight. I mean, in the interview, he even said, I forgot how many, but Kaikar France has a bunch of first round knockouts. I guess it's not that surprising, but it's surprising it was against Steve Erzik, who looked so good against Pantoja. So many people thought he won. So many people thought he was just going so many people just thought he was going to come in here and school Kaikar France, but it's MMA, man. Anything could happen. It's a wild sport. What are your guys' thoughts on what went down?
I mean, I was impressed, but not like the most surprised. I think that one of Kaikara France's like for all his like losses, I didn't think that like he was gonna win a decision over Urseg. Um, personally, but I did think that the one threat was like a knockout. Um, particularly like an early one. I think that Kai for flyweight has like above average power in his hands. And I feel like that's always been one of his bigger strengths. I just kind of figured that Urseg was like, after seeing what he did against Pantoja, I thought he was going to be able to mix it up well enough to like, and plus he's like really slick on the feet. I think that like Kai kind of just got him before he like really too much settled into his rhythm. I felt like he was just starting to settle in, and then Kai cracked him, and it was over from there. But I mean, I felt like if the fight went to round 2, I don't think that like Kai would have probably knocked him out. I think that
Yeah.
Kai just kind of got him early and clipped him, and that can happen to anybody. So I wasn't the most surprised, but like I definitely didn't predict it at all. But props to Kai. I mean, on a night that like damn near all of their city kickboxing teammates won, like he had to get his as well. Um, I mean, after seeing what Dan Hooker did to Gamrot, which we'll get to next, like I feel like the whole squad was inspired, and like outside of Izzy barely letting it slip, like they had a great night for that gym.
Yeah, I mean, not much to say here. Kai got the knockout, 2 knockdowns. I mean, he looked fine. He looked good. I mean, he definitely has power. Uh, I agree. I definitely saw him if he won the fight would have been by knockout. I don't think Usyk would have lost the decision. But it's just funny. MMA Guru was acting like Usyk won that fight 4 rounds to 1. And now we come to this, Mr. MMA Guru. I don't know what you're gonna say about it. He's probably already said, but this is a huge win for Kai. I think that's just the storyline. A potential title shot, maybe. I mean, not sure, but because flyweight right now is just kind of weak. I feel like he could definitely throw his name in the hat. I would say either him and Albazi. I get Albazi beat him, but I thought it was a
I don't
robbery.
even know what's up with Albazi recently.
Well, he got hurt. He was supposed to fight Moreno beginning of the year, and he got hurt, and that's why Royval stepped in.
I do remember that, yeah.
So I don't know if from the looks of it, he's probably not fighting the rest of the year at this point, or maybe the very end. But Pantoja, when did they fight? Was that like March, right?
Something like that. 301. So yeah, around there.
Yeah, so he's gonna fight soon.
That was
And
May.
I feel like Kai honestly would be the first one ready right now.
No.
Didn't take a lot of damage whatsoever. He looked explosive, man. I've seen it from Kai before, so I'm not like shocked. He won. I kind of had a gut feeling it might happen, but I just thought Usyk's chin was probably a lot better than I guess it is.
Facts.
And yeah, I think that's just really it. I just underestimated or overestimated Usyk's chin, really. But
I mean, and honestly, if you're quite honest, like Usyk did kind of like because of the division that he's in, get like fast tracked to that title shot.
That's a good point.
So it's like sometimes like you get fast tracked to the title shot without actually like earning your way fully up there necessarily. Like not to say like he was undeserving of a title shot. It's just a division where like a lot of people just have either lost to Pantoja or lost to people who lost to Pantoja. So it doesn't like the path is usually like pretty simple. Like like most of the people in the top 10 are like usually 1 or 2 fights away. And like plus with timing and like injuries and all that, like anyone can kind of get a title shot. So he did avoid like a lot of the killers on his way up to that title. And I think that it kind of showed. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think go ahead.
A good prediction, your next champion, Tetsu Tura.
I was gonna say I think Kai France should get the next title shot. I'm not saying like maybe he is, maybe he's not the most deserving, but it definitely the way the schedules are lined up. Pantoja hasn't fought in a minute. Well, he has, but like he's gonna fight later in the year. Kai France, like you said, Clark took no damage, and Royval and I think Tatsura are fighting, right?
I don't know. Is that a fight now?
I think Royval, maybe not, but
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at that. I think Tatsura does need to like have another fight.
I agree.
For me to think that he deserves to jump Kai France, especially just on an experience factor. I mean, even though Tatsura is like, legit and shit, but at the end of the day, like let me see his last like
I don't know. I'm just
like
Perez. Like who is he?
I'm saying like he hasn't beat any of these top guys really. So
I don't know, Royval. It's an interesting matchup.
Beat Roy. He'll beat Royval. Stop it.
I think he will. I think he will beat him. I'm just saying he hasn't compared to Kai France's resume. So
I think people are sleeping on Royval a little lately.
Stop it, Ed. Did you see that Moreno fight? Did you see that fight?
I mean, he beat Moreno, bro. I don't care how shitty he looked. He beat Moreno.
Like, bro, he literally soy punched him to a victory. Like, it was the weakest strike against a dude who literally was gassed the whole time. Like, it was so crazy.
The raw dog, bro. Y'all are sleeping.
Raw dog gang, but like, nah. I respect Royval just because like
it's a sick nickname. I'll give him that.
That might be the best thing he has going. But no, I respect him because he's gritty. But like, I feel like there's an easy path to out grapple him, and I think that Tatsura can easily out grapple him as well. Like so bad matchup for him.
What do you guys want to see for Urzik? Just give me a name. What do you guys think next for him?
Mateus Nicola, you can knock him out real quick.
Mateus. That's a pretty good fight. Or Cape would be cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ursa Cape might be bad, or Perez, I guess, if you just want to move up,
How's
like
Perez still 6?
in a more natural way.
He beat who did he beat?
Nicolau. Yeah, you beat Nicolau.
Nicola, and he was ranked high for some reason.
If Alex Perez ain't shit and get off the pot, man,
No,
number 6 is pretty high, man. So like, let Ursa get that. Because honestly, when I think of the division, I don't think of Ursa being the 8th best fighter in it at all.
Hey, I'm telling you, hey, you know what? Usyk versus Bruno Silva, man. Remember that? He was losing that whole fight, but he was just a ball of just like pure destruction against Cody Durden. You just knew one of those shots were gonna just land on him.
That's funny stuff.
That'd be a fun fight, I would say, if they were to fight.
All right, though, guys. Let's move on to the fight of the night. We got Hooker versus Gamrot. Crazy fight. Split decision win from Hooker. Great fight. Great performance for the Hangman. Clark, why don't you start us off with this?
Yeah, maybe Gamrot won. Maybe he didn't. I don't really care because it's like, once again, it's kind of the same thing from Gamrot. It's like another lay and pray. I mean, you did a little better on the feet this time, but a little lay and pray mission, like once again. And it's just grinding on top of grinding to try to win out a split decision against the number 11 dude in the world who hasn't looked good in years for the most part, who got a comeback win against Jalen Turner. Like, I just feel Gamera's just not good, that good. He's not. I mean, I think everything was proven in that fight. Like, he fought decently well, landed some good punches, but I think Hooker was more determined to win that fight. He was a madman in there. I think it comes down to round one.
Yeah.
And I think 2 and 3 were pretty obvious who won those. So I think it came down to one. And the only reason I gave to Hooker was because of that big moment at the towards the end of the round that wobbled Gamron, and I thought that was just the biggest moment in that round. So I favored Hooker a little bit. I don't care if Gamrot had him on one knee, just humping his back, whatever he was doing there. Um, both it was a good fight. Like, I'm not gonna shit on Gamrot super because I will say he was more active than most of his fights, I would say.
It's confirmed.
But he just has pillow, like, he's not good on the feet. I think that's just why I'm not big on him. And I don't think his ground game is good enough to suffice that. So
Respectfully, Clark, I have to disagree with the round one thing. I thought that was ridiculous that they gave Hooker the first round. First of all, Gamrot got a knockdown of his own. People forget that in the first round. He got multiple takedowns, a bunch of control time. Hooker finished the round. Yeah.
Knockdown, Ed.
He got a knockdown. He definitely got, it was on the replay. He got Xavier. Do you remember that?
I think he got a knockdown and then he like beat on his face for like a minute, it seemed like.
And he got multiple takedowns. He got his own knockdown. That's what's pissing me off. He got his own knockdown, which is like, that's ridiculous. I'm not too mad that they give Hooker the fight. Like, he clearly had the momentum at the end of the fight and all that, but not giving Gamrot round one was ridiculous to me.
The way I was looking at it, like, for me personally, I think that like, like a lot of people thought that Volk won the first Islam fight because like the momentum when he was having moments, like, and the fans were behind him, and like the momentum when he was having moments was like the hype was high. I felt like similar to that, where it's like Gamrot was winning larger portions of the fight to me. But then like it seemed like at the end of every round, he was the one on the retreat, in trouble, either gassing out or getting pressured on the feet. Whether Hooker was landing a lot or a little, he was always like, he ended almost every round on the back foot, and I think that that's what cost him, especially in a place where he's the favorite.
At home, yeah.
He has he's at home.
I think he won
all the crowd support. I mean, I feel like every time, like, I feel like he stung throughout the fight. I would say he stung Gamrot and had him in trouble more times than Gamrot had him in trouble.
Definitely had the biggest moments.
He had the biggest moments, but I feel like
Big moments.
at least in round 1, I thought for sure Gamrot won. Like, I thought that was a Gamrot round to me. And I thought that round 3 was close, so I mean, it was kind of a coin flip. Then round 2 was definitely to Hooker, so I wasn't mad at the decision, but like I was more mad at Gamrot for not like securing some takedowns. Like, what are you doing?
Maybe I'm forgetting this fight round. I don't really.
I think I
was watching on a replay, but
I think I had it 1-1 going into the third. Something like that. But yeah, whatever, man. Gamrot lost. Hooker's super exciting. It is what it is. Gamrot's a fucking wet blanket.
imagine Hooker's number 5. That's crazy.
I just can't even imagine like the guy that I saw on Saturday is the same guy that like went 5 with Arman and was like out grappling him, because it's like you really gassed out against Dan Hooker in like 2 rounds.
Yeah,
But
3 rounds. Yeah.
if you go a hard grappling 5 with like with Gamrot, I mean with Arman, it's
Yeah.
I think that that's like a big part of when they say like when the commentators say like a fighter's fighting in their comfortable like preferred way. I think that that's like what this fight was very representative of. I think that like a grappler might be able to grind you out for 5 comfortable rounds as long as it's only grappling, but when it's them largely being on the feet and kind of like uncomfortable, I think that that was taxing out Gamrot a lot. The fact that like he wasn't able to like control Hooker for large periods of time. Like he would get a takedown, Hooker would get back up within
Yeah,
like
Hooker
a
was constantly
back,
getting up.
back in his face. I feel like that was just gassing him out, like more than just the straight grappling alone.
Yeah. That's also a really good point. Whenever Hooker got up, immediately he was in Gamrot's face pressing his ass. Yeah, building off what you just said, X, styles make fights. I think a guy like Gamrot against Arman feels a lot more comfortable on the feet, preserving energy. With Hooker, he was tagging him constantly, cutting him up, rocking him. He was on shaky legs a lot. And yeah, he just didn't have the striking game to compete with Hooker. Even though I
Plus,
thought he won, but still.
plus
I
Hooker a fucking sicko. Cause
Yeah,
like,
he's a maniac.
did you guys see that like round 3 shit where he goes, "I fucking love this shit." They're trying to give him advice, and he's like, "I fucking love this shit." Like he looked like Huey off the Compound V, the Temp V, bro. When he was just like vibing, he was high as fuck. He looked like
yeah,
he was
in the car, he was like that.
yeah. Dan Hooker was high off the fucking adrenaline of the fuck.
Gamrot was like fighting for his life in the corner.
I know, dude. It was a tale of two like mentalities. Like Dan Hooker, for all his like technical flaws, like you can say what you want, but he loves this shit, and like he's a savage. Izzy says it all the fucking time. Like he's a madman in training. Like he always comes to fucking fight, and he came to fucking fight. And I don't think Gamrot came to fight. I think Gamrot came to win. And Dan Hooker was just in his fucking face. Like I don't care like I will say even Gamrot's striking looked better than I've seen it before.
Oh yeah,
Like
he landed a lot.
honestly, there were points in this fight where I was like, okay, as someone who like betted on Gamrot, I was like, there were points that I was like, okay, just strike with him, because like you're doing better at that than these like failed takedown attempts, these desperate takedown attempts. Like when he actually was like stuck on the feet, like he was cracking Hooker with like not combinations, which was the problem, but like he was cracking with like good single shots, like all throughout the fight. He was holding his own like on the feet, like not winning, but like holding his own on the feet. So I mean, like I would say, like for all like the shitting on him that we're doing, like I would definitely say like he's definitely evolving his striking at some rate, but like it was not enough tonight, I guess, especially not in Gamrot. I mean, in Hooker's backyard.
Do you think it's more of Gamrot being like a little worse than we thought, or Hooker being better than we thought?
Probably a mix of both. I instinctually look at it like if like I'm not the most high on Dan Hooker, but I'm pretty high on him. Like I have a good respect for his game. I just thought that like Gamrot was gonna be able to wrestle fuck him a lot more than he was. So I would say I left being like more closer to being less impressed with Gamrot than more impressed for Hooker. But at the same time, like Hooker has made a lot of improvements over the years, and like you know, I'm like we've seen it with Oliveira. Like sometimes the fighters like they show promise, they take some lumps, and then they hit a different mindset. And I mean, like this tatted up plus 9,000 aura fucking hooker. Like he fucking added a lot of he spent all his VC
A
and
lot
fucking
of
got tatted up. Like I've never seen someone get so many tattoos between like fight to fight. Like
was crazy.
from going from no tats to like a full body of tats. Like the man's obviously a savage. He leveled up, man, and he fucking showed grit in there.
Definitely.
I would say, I mean, you all know how I feel. I think Gamera's kind of just overrated. I don't think he's fucking shit, to be honest. I
I think he's more annoying than like he's like a Bilal that doesn't talk shit. He's like a Bilal that doesn't
yeah,
talk.
like he's a worse Bilal,
The
damn near.
gamer.
Um, the scorecards, by the way, and we'll get into it on the next fight because there were some
Oh
wicked
my
stuff going.
God. I don't
But
even want
by the way, in this fight, so both of the judges who had Dan Hooker winning gave him rounds 1 and 3,
it just doesn't.
and no one gave him the second round. By the way, all three judges, the one judge that gave it to Camrod gave him the first and second.
I think I agree with that scorecard. I'd give 1 and 2 to Gamrot and 3 to Hooker, personally.
I think when I was watching it, like that's kind of how I felt it was going. But like as a better, I always kind of like if it's a close round, I always just assume that my fighter lost. So I'm like, he lost one of these. I know like they're gonna give him one of these. So I figured it was 1-1, and then like in round three, Hooker won.
Yeah,
To me.
we're sickos. We just know how the judges are gonna think. Like,
I know, I know. I'm like, this is Sam, especially because like I said, like I do think that like Clark said earlier in the video, like a lot of the times, like what's happening at the end of the round, like if it's a 50-50 round, trumps what happened in the beginning of the round.
Mhm.
Um, I feel like just like leaving, like closing the round with the visual of you like marching forward and the other person being in trouble, you kind of forget that the fact that the first round looked like the exact opposite. So I
yeah,
mean, like plus the fans and all of that, how hyped everyone was getting, it's kind of like okay.
I hate when that happens. When like a fighter will have a great like last minute and win the round, even though the other guy won. Like I don't care how the round ends. That's not how like the scoring's supposed to work.
Facts.
But okay, really quickly, guys, I'm gonna throw out some names for the Hangman next. We got Oliveira, Gaethje, or Fiziev. I think those are the 3 top candidates for the Hangman. Who would you guys want to see?
Oliveira would be cool.
I would say Oliveira or Gaethje.
I think Gaethje. I want to see Gaethje.
I mean, on paper, Gaethje the better fight, but I would say like the more compelling fight for me personally. I feel like
Uh,
in terms of if Dan Hooker wants to make a legitimate title push, which I would imagine he probably does,
yeah, he's
fighting
got.
Oliveira will get him closer to that than fighting Gaethje coming off a loss.
Okay.
Even though Oliveira coming off a loss, it's like a different kind of loss.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it basically was very close. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Charles Oliveira. It's like Armand here,
yeah.
Charles here.
Armin has a fat neck. Let's not forget that he has a fat neck.
He just treated a thick neck. Do you think Hooker has a chance to beat any of those guys?
I think he could for sure beat Gaethje or Oliveira. Um, not to say I would favor him to. I just think he
I mean,
could.
possibly. Yeah, it's kind of hard
It's
to
tough.
say. I don't know what level Hooker's like starting to get at because, like I said, I mean, he almost should have lost the Jalen Turner fight, and
And
we're
this
very
fight.
much off that man. So it's tough to say right now. I
Yeah,
would say give it a shot at least. I don't think he'd get totally destroyed.
I think he could maybe beat Fiziev, but like Gaethje and Oliveira are still like a tier above Hooker, in my opinion.
I think it's more of like a matchup thing for me. I don't really look at like especially in lightweight. I don't look at like this fighter is better than this fighter, especially once you get into like the top five or like the top six. And I guess top nine if you count fucking Max Holloway, and top 10 if you count Fiziev. Like, I feel like lightweight is a cesspool of like matchups. Outside of like, I think Islam beats everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I would favor him to beat everyone in the whole division. But
Send me.
outside of him, Like, I think it's a matchup thing.
I saw a stat that it just kind of proves lightweight is like death row. Lightweight has the least amount of ranked fighters coming off of a win in the whole UFC. So it just shows that like wins and losses, it just you kind of juggle them. Like it's just killer's row.
I will say I would love a rematch between one of my favorite fights ever, him and Poirier. They were to just duke it out again.
I feel that, but just Poirier's just not in a position to take a Dan Hooker fight.
I agree. I don't want to see that.
He wants
Especially
a bigger fight.
especially because like I would rather see
Every fight. Why does he deserve a bigger fight? He loses every fight.
Poirier?
Oh,
Yes.
Because he's a dude, because he's a legend. He only has one fight left. He just went 5 rounds with Islam. The fans love him.
He was lucky to catch a sub on Chandler. He was losing that fight too. Like this man pulls out.
I still can't believe he won that fight.
he's a great master. Even Connor was thinking his ass.
No,
Yeah.
he's the grit master. You're right.
He's the greatest fighter of all time.
It's just
All
all
right.
good.
Really quickly, give me a name for Gamrot. Who do you guys want to see him fight next? Very competitive dub. I mean, L.
Dariush.
BSD.
Dariush. Or BSD. Dariush or BSD.
Okay.
I know BSD is fighting Moicano, but
Give him Patty so Patty can sub him up and get him out of
honestly, yeah.
No.
Honestly, let's
guys.
the title shot. Because
Fast
honestly,
track Patty. Fast
if,
track Patty.
if anyone's subbing Islam right now, it's gonna be that man. That's all I gotta say.
I think it's too early for Patty for Gamrot. Gamrot's just gonna wet blanket him, bro.
What?
I think so. He's just gonna sit on him, bro.
Okay.
Probably, but like I would like to see it. But I mean, like, but realistically, on a more realistic note, like, I just do think that like giving him like
I think BSD is fine. I think
That's a firefight.
I think him or like
Moicano.
I mean winner of that, honestly. That'd make sense.
BSD Moicano winner.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Or Dariush. I feel like Dariush is good. They're both gonna grapple each other. Like
That'd be a fun, like that'd be such a boring fight, I feel like.
I mean, I think that Dariush might knock him out on the feet if they.
How old is
Yes.
How old is Dariush?
He's not as old as we think. He just looks like an old fuck.
He's
Bro,
like
he
35,
looks like
probably
60
36.
now. He's got gray hair and
Let
everything.
me look it up.
He looks 43, but he's probably like 36.
Man,
He's 35,
I mean,
yeah.
didn't they just fight? Or I guess it's been a minute, but
Well, he got knocked the fuck out by Armin, like bad. And
yeah.
who else? Who else knocked him out bad?
Ooh, Dariush,
Dariush.
my man Oliveira.
Oliveira, and then Armin got him. So he's on a 2-fight KO loss streak. All right,
Hey,
guys.
we know Gamrot ain't gonna knock his ass out. That's a
Oh
good
hell
fight.
no.
True.
That's a good fight for him. He can grapple like he wants. Fuck it.
I mean, that would be. I mean, they already fought. I mean, I guess Gamrot could get that fight back if he wants it.
I mean, he has the leverage now. I feel like more so.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, guys, let's move on to Tai Tuivasa versus Biggie Boy. Jesus Christ, let's just get the elephant out of the room. The guy, I'm pretty sure, literally got like fired on the spot. That scorecard, 30-27 for Tuivasa. I'm not even joking. Might be the worst scorecard of all time.
No. That was the worst. That was the most egregious thing I've ever seen, and it was the first time I've ever seen the UFC dismiss a judge for their shit. And I think that it needs to happen more. Quite honestly,
He might have been off some shit, bro.
I think it needs to happen more because there was no way you can give Tuivasa a fucking round of that.
Hell no.
He got whooped from bell
he looked
to
so
bell,
shit.
Bell to bell to bell to bell. Like there were 6 bells and he got whooped through all of them.
I'm so ashamed I picked him to win that. Like I feel so stupid that I picked him to win this fight.
I was so mad at myself for not taking the over 1.5 because I felt like this is how the fight was gonna go, and it went exactly how I thought it was gonna go.
I told you.
I just thought Tai was due for a big win.
My boy AJ talked me into believing in Tai. He was like, "No way!" He like, oh my god, he talked me into it, man. Shout out, AJ. But like, goddamn, like,
Sure.
what is it called? MMA Experts? Is that what his fucking channel is called? MMA Experts.
Yeah, I think so.
Shout out AJ from MMA Experts. Like I rock with him usually, but like you were wrong on this one, Bucko. Really wrong, and you made me fucking pig flip, which like kind of fuck you for that.
Yeah, here's what I'll say about the fight. I think, like, yeah, obviously that I don't know what that judge was doing. He deserves to get like absolutely kicked out of the UFC, PFL, wherever he goes judging. He needs to get expelled. Like that was just as bad as when Cheeto Vera got the decision win over Sanhagen. It was, I mean, this one I think was way worse because it was like pretty
So
clear, like who won the fight and
3-0.
like so and Tuivasa 30-27. I was like, what?
He had that scorecard written before the fight even fucking started. Like
Oh,
he was
yeah, I was gonna.
Written out just
he was like Ty gonna win this
talking.
fight on my in my book.
That man
Bro,
had a vendetta against Biggie Boy.
yeah, disgusting.
But like looking at the fight though, I mean, I feel like Ty just like he's not doing what he used to do on the win streak.
That's
Like
what I'm saying. Like, what's
he's a
different?
brawler. He's a brawler and he's trying to fight these fights now on the outside and be cute and like accurate, but that's not the fighter he is. He never was. He's a brawler that gets inside, makes it an ugly fight. That's how he beat Derek Lewis.
Yeah.
He just went after him and made it dirty and got the finish. But in this fight, it was the same thing he's been doing the last few. He stayed on the outside with a much better striker, like I said in the preview in Rosenstruck. He's the much cleaner of the two. And he just played to Rosenstruck's like uh
Prince.
strengths. Yeah, he just played to his strength. He literally just tagged him on the outside the whole fight. And
Dude.
there's nothing else. There's nothing Ty could have done. Ty, it says here, I don't know if this is correct, but it felt like it at times watching 37 out of 126.
Yeah, 37-92.
That is crazy. That is so bad. It's just, I don't know what else Ty can do at this point. I mean, he just has to start brawling again. But at this point, I don't know if
He's on a 5-fight losing streak.
Oh no, yeah.
Dude, it made me sick seeing Tai Tuivasa keep throwing that dumbass front kick or whatever the hell that was. He threw that shit like 20 times while just getting pieced in the face. Like, people forget, like, Tuivasa was legitimately one win away from a title shot at heavyweight. Heavyweight's always been a pretty shallow division. If he beat Gon,
He was a knockdown away.
yeah, exactly. He could have gotten a title shot, interim title shot. Like,
he was a Gon having a fucking chin on him away because he put Gon the fuck out. I swear, Gon was asleep for like a second until he hit the cage and got up and was like,
that was one of those flash ones.
and proceeded to whoop the fuck out of Ty the rest of the fight. But like, he did knock him. Like in my book, he knocked Gon out because I saw it live. Like, I saw it, but
I think Gon just hit his head hard and he just woke up instantly.
it's crazy. But respect, like, I have no room to talk. Like, Tai Tuivasa is a UFC fighter, but Jesus Christ, man, these like really fat heavyweights need to get their shit together. Like, you're in the UFC, bro. You're in the top 10 in the UFC, and you're looking like, come on,
crazy.
he's looking like a Bellator fighter out there, like a prelim Bellator fighter out there.
He is now 15-8.
Shout out Bam Bam, bro. Yeah, good luck.
I just don't know. Like, yeah, I think that like his like devolution has been worse than Derek Lewis's was. Like,
Oh, it definitely has been. What's next for Biggie Boy? He got, he did his thing, bro. Biggie Boy's that dude, beating Ty in
I mean,
physique.
like the thing is, like he is upper tier, especially like before, like he got slumped by Ngannou. Like he was kind of like one of those guys who like had that power in his hands, had like the technical ability, fights technical. He throws good leg kicks, which like a lot of like not a lot of heavyweights, throw good leg kicks. I would say give Rosenstruck maybe Tybura or Spivak.
I like that.
Wait. Says Stipe is in the ring. Has he just been in the rankings this whole time for the last 5 years?
Moving down steadily.
Wait, what? How is he at 7 right
Hopefully
now?
they'll fight.
I just noticed he's at 7. That's kind of crazy, but
I feel like he just got added there. I feel like he's been off the rankings for a minute now.
Maybe the fight's about to get announced.
Maybe that would be crazy.
Hopefully. It should. Hopefully it'll happen in November. I don't know. I doubt it.
November is what I'm hearing. Like MSG card November. Like that's
Because
what.
that's what they always wanted to do.
I'd say Rosenstruck versus. I mean, he could finish Tybura real quick, probably.
I think
feel like,
Spivak. Give him Spivak. Coming off a dub.
I feel like if it wasn't for Tom Aspinall, like John Jones could fight for another like 5 years and not lose the title at all.
Oh, dude, no, hell, yeah, dude. Heavyweight.
It's one man that gives him problems. Like even if he gets past Aspinall and one, like I would not be surprised if he was like, "I'm gonna just stay around and get this money." I'm gonna go ahead and beat up Jonathan Almeida for the freeze. Like,
I mean, especially when you have the fact Volkov's number 3 shows this division's level, in my opinion. I mean, Volkov 3 just seems crazy to me. Gone went to film a movie and now is back and got this fight, which he's probably easily win as well.
Also, bro, if you look at the rankings past Stipe, the next all the way from 7 to 15 is just like fat fuck heavyweights. Like I'm sorry, man. There's some killers in the top 10, I guess. Like Almeida's still nice, Blades, Pavlovich. Yeah, like Romanov, bro. Like Jesus, yeah.
You said fat fuck heavyweight. That's hilarious.
Even RDL kind of.
All right, though, guys. Let's move on to the final fight of the main card. It was the first fight, actually. The Leech got slumpy dumped by Prates. This guy's an issue. He's on the Fighting Nerds, right?
Nerds, man.
Yeah, yep. They're a problem. They are a problem. What do you guys think about the future of him and this fight?
I thought Prates and his celebratory sig like looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, that was hard as fuck.
Granted, the fucking Leech was coming off like a 2-year layoff, so I don't think that like that is why the result of the fight was what it was. I think Prates just is that good from what I saw. I think the Leech looked pretty big for himself. Clearly came back in phenomenal shape, so I don't think that he was like, out of shape or anything like that. It just seemed like I don't know if it's the age of the Leech going from 33 to 35 since he last fought, or if it's just Prates' like freakish power, but like he stung the Leech every time he hit him clean. It seemed like the Leech was rocked like immediately. And props to Prates for knowing that he has like that power and just knowing that like there's another one that's gonna come. I think that like I feel like a big trend that I've noticed is like people who are like known to be heavy-handed and technical, they don't tend to rush their shots. They tend to like, okay, like Alex, he's not gonna, even if you're clipped, he's just gonna take his time because he's like, I know that like if I'm chipping away at that health bar, like I know I will land another power punch. Whereas like someone who's like more relies on volume, if they clip you, they're way more likely to like swarm you and try to like really take advantage because like they don't know when the next opportunity that you're gonna be really rocked is. And I think Prates showed me that he believes in his power. He knows like regardless of like if I let him recover a little bit or not, like he's not gonna fully recover and I will land another shot. So I was really impressed with Prates here.
Yeah, it was just nothing but impressed by Prates. I mean, I think for the most part, schooled the Leech on the feet. I think at least power wise, just clearly had the edge and didn't let him off the hook. Well, he was smart to, take his time, I think, once the Leech got back up. Because he knew he had the edge from that point, I think. Especially the second knockdown. I don't know how many times he honestly knocked him down. It felt like 4. It says 3, but it felt like 4 times. And
because there was one time that the Leafs didn't go all the way down. He just kind of like leaned back on the cage, and I don't think that they counted that. All right, but like I was saying, I just feel like there was like I honestly just didn't know like why he didn't finish the Leafs when he was like when he rocked him, and then the Leafs kind of was like defenseless and like leaning against the cage for what felt like 3 seconds with his chin just like in the air. I kind of like at that moment felt like the Leafs posed like no additional threat because he was like not at all in a position where he could do anything offensive. So I mean, I feel like maybe like a little more killer instinct would have served him well, especially as you rise up the rankings and you're going against guys who like will come back and want to fight against you if you like let them. But I mean, it obviously worked out against the Leech, so I mean, like I'm not gonna criticize it too much.
Definitely. What do you guys want to see next for Prates? He seems like very exciting. Like
Give him the top. Wait, what division? Welterweight, top 15. Just give him
I
some.
I was like thinking like two names personally. I would say Vicente Luque or Buckley.
Buckley has a fight against Wonder Boy coming up.
Oh, what about Magny? Is Magny busy?
I don't think
Fighting,
so. That
yeah, he's fighting.
yeah, that
I forget who.
Magny, the ultimate gatekeeper. Give it to him.
Who's Magny fighting? Clark?
No,
He's fighting someone. I don't know. Oh, he's fighting this weekend.
oh Morales.
Yeah. Ooh, Michael Morales. I think I'm shocked he's a -1,000. I think Michael Morales thumps him.
Okay, fuck it. Give him Luque then. I would say just give him Luque. Just because I mean Protest didn't take much damage in that fight at all. And I think that like he can probably thump Luque out the rankings for good, probably.
I,
Yeah.
I like that.
Good litmus test. I mean, we all know Luque not in his prime. So like
But yeah, he is a vet. You know.
I feel like if you lose to Luque, you have to be on some like pump the brakes and reevaluate shit. But I think that like that's a good measuring stick for where he's at. If he starts as Luque, maybe you can jump him up to like a Sean Brady or something. But if he loses to Luque, then maybe you have to like slow him down, let him develop a little bit slower.
I agree.
All right, guys. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about on the prelims of the fight?
Let me see.
Oh, well,
Oh my
I
God.
love the, yeah, I don't know if you're thinking of the same thing here. I would love to talk Kula Bala.
Kulabao. Kulabao.
I mean, okay, y'all. Okay, looking at the fight, it was actually a very entertaining fight for the most part. Uh, I honestly think Ramos should have found the rear naked in the first round, probably. Didn't find it. But Josh Kulabala, however you say it, I don't know, had Ricardo Ramos dead to rights in that fight in the last 2 minutes of the second round, kicked his leg from under him. His leg was completely gone. And you know what he did? He decided to stand there, let him sit there, not even really throwing a lot of punches to the head. He got a few in, but like he just let him sit there for a whole like minute and a half or whatever, let him rest, and then got Ricardo. He was good enough once he got up. Like the leg, I mean, the leg was still fucked. I don't know why he still didn't go after the leg. I mean, he changed stances a little bit, but then go after the other leg. Like it's simple stuff to me. He should have right away just told him to get back up, just
Right.
like Herbert Burns, and that's why Herbert Burns went down and lost the fight. Jack Jenkins was smart and did that. Like literally, it was so easy to me to what he should have done, and I have no clue why he decided to just let him sit there and like rest for a solid minute and a half or however long it was. I was just pissed because I had the under 2.5, and that just should have 100% hit the way that fight went. And it just didn't because Kulabala, and he kind of choked the fight. I mean, maybe he won the third. Who knows? He might have won the fight, but I mean, Ramos might have stole it. Who knows? But I mean, Kulabala just let the fight get away, and he should have got the finish in the second. So I'm just mad at him.
Yeah, I definitely was disappointed, and I think that the Australian fans had to be fucking disappointed because he's one of their boys. Um, I took Kulabau in like a parlay, and like like you said, he had him dead to rights. And I mean, I honestly thought he won. I thought it was like 1-1 going into the third, and I thought that like I didn't think that like Ramos's takedown at the end, and like he did really nothing with the control time, so I thought that it wasn't gonna be enough to like.
It just made it close.
It did. It made it too shoddy, like too close for comfort. So I was like already nervous. But like I said, like you said when you called me right after the fight, he deserved to lose the fight just because like how much he let it slip. Um, Piss poor IQ. Great. Like he looked good in there, like outside of the moments that he
The
didn't, and
better fighter in my
he
mind.
fought extra dumb. But that shit was very much a bummer. Yeah, he's got to get his shit together. I also thought, like, what do you guys think about the Walter Walker Jr. Tafra finish?
I mean, Tafa's a weirdo, bro. He's just a weirdo.
I mean,
I mean, he's whatever, dude. He sucks.
I think that they both kind of suck. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, it was like a verbal tap. He just kind of screamed. He didn't tap. It was like a few seconds left in the round, but like I guess in the rule book, someone looked it up and like they said that like a yell out in pain is a verbal tap.
It
So
is, yep. Yeah. So Tafa's completely out of line for hitting him after the fight. Like that was ridiculous.
it was a little love tap. It was a little love tap, but you know,
It was.
it was out of pocket. Yeah, I mean, good win for Walter Walker. He seems to be on a on a rampage against all Tafas. So I mean, hey, Walter's v Tafas. Like I'm not mad at this little brother v brother rivalry, man. Give him a little 2-on-2 specialty matchup. Like,
I
hey,
rock with it.
first
Yeah.
of its kind, bro. Let him scrap, bro. 2v2. But
I'm with it.
I'd love to see it.
My man Johnny was in the corner cheering his brother on. They look nothing alike, by the way.
Johnny Walker also clearly never like trains with this man or spars with him or practices his striking at all, but that's neither here nor there, man. Let me also address real quick. Luana Santos looked fucking like shit. She looked like absolute dog shit against Casey O'Neill. And a fight that like I think most people were predicting her to win, especially with like some grappling. She secured no grappling. She sucked on the feet. She got tired fast as fuck and just let Casey O'Neill whoop her ass for 3 rounds. And I could not have been more disappointed. I think she's still pretty young. I don't know how old she is, but she's still in her 20s, I believe. I think she has like potential still if she gets her shit together. But this, I don't. It was like a month's notice, which is not like short notice, but I guess she was a replacement fighter, so maybe there's a little something to that. But like, still, I think that like that she did not perform at least. Like even if you lose, I want you to like I want it to be like you were in the fight, and that is not what I saw. So,
I agree.
Yeah.
and then like last but not least, for me, I just wanted to like give props to Herbert Burns because even though he's the worst fucking fighter in the UFC in my mind, he actually looked good for longer. He's usually a 3-minute fighter. Today he was a 5-minute fighter.
Shout out to him.
Shout out to him, bro. He's getting better.
I told you.
Shout out my boy Nick Crescenzo as well, because that's his twin. But you know, that's a story for another day.
It's crazy. All right, though. Thank you guys so much for watching our UFC 305 recap. It means the world to us. Please check out the TikTok. We got a bunch of stuff coming out of there. We love the interactions. And once again, thank you guys for watching.
Peace.
So, yo.